Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. And so, if you didn't catch the end of SmackDown just now, CM Punk is back, and he is the fifth man in the Survivor Series match for the War Games. So, yeah, kind of surprised, not gonna lie. I thought Punk was going to come back he was probably going to come back towards the end of the year going into the Rumble there. But no, he is back and he is going to wrestle on the OC Bloodline, which is I don't really get the concept here of what they're going on. The only thing I can think of is they're trying to go forward more with the WrestleMania plans of him and Seth, creating more tension there. But in terms of this particular storyline, because this is supposed to be a storyline about the apprentice basically creating a new bloodline to weed out the original bloodline and take power or whatever, away. That is supposed to be the whole storyline here. But because it's supposed to be 5 people that they don't know, they just want to add random people. Like Bronson Reed is on Sola's team, and now CM Punk is the 5th person for the original OC. Personally, I really wish they would just weed it down to 4 for the bloodline, or not blood, for the War Game match. Because they take so much time for the War Game match to begin with, because it takes 5 minutes or whatever for them to get out of the pod, so they can enter the ring there or whatever. So for me personally, I really wish they would just kind of make it 4. Last year they only did 4 women, and then they did 5 men last year for War Games. This year they're doing 5 women and 5 men for each of the War Game matches. Takes away a lot of time there. So I personally wish they would kind of just go to 4. I wish they would bring back the traditional team battle, Survivor Series team battle, because I actually prefer the Survivor Series team battle concept more than the War Games one, because War Games takes way too long just to start the match. Because the way the War Games works is War Games, you don't even start until everybody is in the ring. So you can't pin anybody or make anybody tap until everybody's in the ring. I know this is how it worked for WCW a long time ago. I obviously watched WCW back in the day, but I don't know. And today it's just so much time constraint. And then also they only had 1 usually, because they didn't have 2. WCW only had 1 usually, though. They didn't have 2 War Games. WWE is doing a woman's and a man War Games. So it takes a lot of time and constraints here. And you can't really do a Survivor Series one, which kind of annoys me, because I feel like, what's it called? What they're doing with the Wyatt 6, and they're doing with the Final Testament, to me that could be like a Survivor Series team battle. If they had enough time, that could be a Survivor Series elimination team battle, because they have enough people for it, to do a classic 4-on-4 or a classic 5-on-5 elimination. Because it was 4-on-4 originally, then it was 5-on-5. During the Ruthless Aggression era, they turned it to a 5-on-5 thing. They could do a 4-on-4 if they wanted to, or do a 5-on-5, because you got the Miz as well involved in that storyline. But you really can't, because they don't have enough time for everything else, because they have to do all the other matches beside the one-on-one title matches besides War Games. So that's kind of where I'm kind of not really a fan of the War Games. I mean, I like the match. I shouldn't say it. I don't hate the match. I just think it takes too long just to start the match. and you got two. You know, you got the women and the male one. So, um, I just don't. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't. What's it called? What's the word? I just don't. You know, I think they really should shorten it. Like, I think it should be 4-on-4 going forward. But now, um, because again, like I said, I do like CM Punk. I'm glad he's in this match because I like seeing CM Punk obviously wrestle. But storyline wise, I'm not a big fan of the decision because again, it doesn't really fit with the whole. You know, Punk wasn't even around when Roman was really at the height of, you know, the bloodline or whatever, you know, because he was obviously in AEW and or not even in wrestling at that point when this whole storyline even originally started. So to me, I'm just, you know, Bronson Reed is random because, you know, he's kind of a new and up and coming guy. You know, but I get he's actually Samoan, so it kind of does work. But he wasn't in the he's not like blood related, so you know. And I know Sami Zayn is an exception because he's like you know the honorary Uso or whatever. But there's a story behind that though. There's a whole story behind that though. You know, so that's kind of where it is with me. I'm happy to see him CM Punk. Obviously, I mean, he's just coming off that, you know, tremendous match of the year at the at Bad Blood. I mean, that was match of the year. It should have been the main event. I'll still stick that to my tombstone. That should have been the main event. It had no video package. That's another thing. It was the opening match and it didn't have a video package. They could have still done a video package. And it should have. It should have had a video package because it was the blowout feud. You know, for anybody who still gets to see that, you know, because you have to like be like, you know, on Peacock, you have to be like, you know, you have to pay like $5 extra or some shit like that to see the video packages unless you watch it live and you click out of the stream and then click back on at the exact same time, like when Michael Cole says after these commercial breaks. And if you do that like immediately on the live stream, you'll see the video package. You can only do it during when it's live though. You can't do it when it's you know, not live. Like if you're watching it on a replay. So that is a little trick that I've discovered. I don't know if people have discovered that already, but you can do that. It will override the commercials if you click out of the feed for Peacock. So yeah, that's a little tidbit for that. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what they do with this. Because obviously, like I said earlier in this video, the whole reason this is going to lead to the fuel to the fire is that Seth Rollins was offered 2 times to be the 5th member of the team for the Bloodline. And he rejected them both times because he didn't want to team up with Roman Reigns. And because of that, Paul Heyman, who came back tonight, and basically, you know, his past history with CM Punk being a Paul Heyman guy, led to him being the 5th guy. I'm not going to lie to you, too. I thought for a second there, because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't prepared for CM Punk to come back this early. I thought they were going to give him, you know, a lot more rest until, you know, closer to the Rumble. I thought they were bringing Brock Lesnar back. I thought Brock was going to come out because it would have been kind of ironic because Brock obviously, you know, has the history with Roman and what I thought they were bringing Brock back. And I know there's a lot of things going on to why Brock hasn't been back, but I just from the storyline in me just thought, oh my God, they're bringing Brock Lesnar back here. Like this was the perfect spot for it. And then it was like, and then CM Punk's music hit, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. I was like, yeah, CM Punk's back. Let's go. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, like I said, the only thing I think this contributes to is that this is going to lead into more Punk and Seth division for WrestleMania. Because this is going to obviously make Seth more jealous that, Punk decides to go take the spot. When it was offered to me, even though I rejected it 2 times because I didn't want to team with Roman. So yeah, in terms of storyline wise, it's kind of random. It makes sense in the sense of Paul Heyman being CM Punk's a Paul Heyman guy. But in terms of the whole bloodline storyline, it doesn't really make sense. But the way WWE has set up this whole War Games concept of having it have to be 5-on-5, and it can't just be 4-on-4, which I had heard like discussions that they were thinking about doing 4-on-4 for War Games, but obviously that ended up not happening. But it is kind of getting really random. Where they're just like, because even last year, like when they were doing War Games and they were setting up War Games, last year for the men, they had Drew Mack in it, for the, for the Judgment Day or whatever. And that was kind of, again, random, since Drew was still kind of like in between on whether they wanted to full-fledged heel turn him or make him, keep him a babyface. He was, even though he was a heel in that sense of, in that Survivor Series match, he was not really a full-fledged heel at that point. He was kind of a tweener at that point, when he teamed up with the Judgment Day. So it is kind of like it's getting to the point where it's like random, having like an extra guy that has no relations to the storyline, and we're kind of going to insert them into the storyline. And this is where I think, again, even from that whole standpoint, is, the 5th man, really is kind of pointless. And it, it really, like I said, if they had done a 4-on-4 War Games, men War Games, I think it would have been just fine. Like, you have your guys, you have Honorary Uso, you have Roman, you have the Usos, and then you have the new, the new bloodline, I think that would have been fine, but then they had to add people in. And obviously there's a big opportunity for Bronson Reed, who, is a new up-and-coming guy. And this keeps CM Punk interesting, but I don't know. I'm happy that CM Punk is in the match just because I'm a big CM Punk fan, and it does create interest. But at the same time, in terms of long-term storyline telling, I don't exactly know where this benefits, other than it, kind of goes into what, they're planning on doing with CM Punk and Seth Rollins, going into the future for WrestleMania 41. That's really, I think this does is, get into a new story, leeching off of, a story that's, I don't know how much longer they're going to continue doing the Bloodline whole thing after this. I'm assuming that it's going to kind of go into more of with The Rock and stuff like that. But, this kind of leans more into what they want to do with Punk coming out of this than what they want to do with the Bloodline teams right now, which that's, I don't know. I obviously am biased to wanting that CM Punk is in here, but in terms of story time, and I'm looking at this objectively, I'm not exactly sure where this goes or how this makes sense. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, if you like to see my videos, please subscribe, hit the notification bell for latest content, and that's about it, guys. I'm the SS Ultimate Goku. Looking forward to Survivor Series next week, and I'm out of here. Peace.